I'm back. Hi folks, well, for those of you that follow the channel, you'll know that over the summer I'm pretty busy relocating from the northeast of England to the northeast of Scotland. That's a journey of over 300 miles and 4 degrees of latitude. So I've relocated from a suburban environment, which is about a Bortle 5-6, to a rural, semi-rural environment, which it says is a Bortle 3-4, although I've not measured it. So anyway, the skies here, when it's clear, the skies are very, very dark. There's no street lights, and not only are they dark, the skies are very transparent as well. So I've had a lot of work to do in the house and try and get in between times trying to get the observatory up and running, so I've been pretty busy, and consequently I've not been posting much at all, if anything, over the last few months. So this is the first of me getting back to it. What I thought we'd do today is talk about the saga of the edph2 refractor. Again, for those of you that follow the channel, you'll know that back in December 2021 I used the edph2 and the ASI MC 2600 Pro on a broadband target, namely the Andromeda galaxy, and that was the first time I'd ever used it on a broadband target, and discovered some pretty significant chromatic aberration in the blue channel. Halos, no, I don't mind halos, but that's simply not right. And some of the stars that are actually red are showing evidence of it here, for example. So clearly all is not well. Now, again, for those of you that follow the channel, you'll know that I got onto Sharpstar about the problem, and they were very good. They got back to me pretty much straight away, and they asked for photographs, which I sent them, and they acknowledged that there was a problem, and that they would send me a replacement objective which they believe would solve the chromatic aberration that was present, and that, however, they were in the process of making up a new batch of these objectives, and it would be a couple of months before I got one. So generally a very, very good response, customer response from Sharpstar. So after a couple of months, the replacement objective did indeed turn up. Do so. Right, at this stage what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some gloves on because I know what will happen if I don't. I'm going to get my sweaty fingerprints all over some nicely pristine optical surfaces. So back in a second. Making sure, of course, not to mix this unit up with the old one. So, on goes the trim, hopefully. being well, this should now screw onto the optical tube assembly. Again, just being careful not to strip any threads. So it should now be simply a question of screwing the dew shield back on. Tonight, as luck would have it, tonight is hopefully going to have a clear spell, according to the weathermen. But we've heard that before. But even if I can just get an hour or so in to test it, that should be enough, because I don't need a huge integration time or any fancy image to find out if this has cured the problem or not. So with a bit of luck, we'll get a couple of hours or sufficient time this evening to check it out. So I will see you later when we go to test it. I was lucky that evening because there were very clear skies, and I decided to test a new objective on the Beehive star cluster in Cancer. I thought that would be a very, very good target to image and see if the new objective had solved the chromatic aberration. Okay, so here we are. It's not exactly ideal tonight, but it should be okay for the purposes of checking out the new objective. It's actually turned out to be a cracking night, believe it or not, so the weatherman actually got it right yet again, dare I say it. There is, however, a small crescent moon, which is quite high in the sky, which shouldn't cause any huge problems, I don't think. Just let it run as long as I can. See you later. Unfortunately, the new objective had not solved the problem of the chromatic aberration. So I got back to Sharpstar, who again were very apologetic, and they were sorry again that I was unsatisfied. They were, however, a little bit puzzled, and they asked me to send not only the replacement objective they sent me, but the original objective as well as the field flattener to them, so that they could have a look and see what was going on. So over the next few months there was lots of toing and froing and not a lot happening, and in fairness to Sharpstar, China was in a really bad state. The real draconian lockdowns were in place because of COVID. China at that time had a zero COVID policy, so not a lot was going on. And so in fairness to Sharpstar, they tried their best under very difficult circumstances for me. Anyway, 2 or 3 months later, they got back to me and said, as far as they were concerned, everything was working to spec, and they were sorry I was disappointed in their product. They recognised that I had been put to a lot of inconvenience, and that this thing had dragged on for quite a long time. So what they offered me was a replacement for the edph2. They were offering me their new quintuplet astrograph, short focal length astrograph, the FRA 300, by way of a replacement. Despite the fact it was over £400 more expensive than the edph2, they were prepared to offer me this unit by way of recompense. Needless to say, I was quite pleased, and again very pleased with their customer service. and I accepted the offer. Again, the only problem was, as they said, they were in the middle of producing a new batch, and again it would be a couple of months before I got one. There's a kind of theme going on here, isn't it? Suffice it to say that at the end of July the unit turned up. Due to the fact that I was busy with the house and the fact that it doesn't get dark here until the end of August, early September, it wasn't till the end of September, beginning of October, that I actually got first light on this particular instrument. So that's it for this session, folks. I just thought I'd let everybody who follows the channel know what I've been up to. And in the next session I'll show how I got on with the first light with the FRA 300. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and for those of you that are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything, it just means you get the heads up on any new content that I may post in future. Thanks again, and remember, keep watching the skies. See you soon.
Watch the skies everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies.